Can Trump survive this? The Iran trap, the midterms, and the I word. Gas is over $4 a gallon. The Strait of Hormuz is basically a parking lot for ships. And Trump just said, quote, he's thinking about winding down a war he started. That's not victory. That's a guy looking for the exit. So let's talk about what actually happens next. Because if this goes sideways, and it very well might, the chain of events that follows is something every American needs to understand. Here's the situation on the ground. The US and Israel launched a surprise attack on Iran on February 28, 2026. The strikes killed Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei and other senior officials. The administration called it a success. Trump went on TV and said, quote, we've won. But Iran didn't get the memo. Iran telegraphed from the beginning that it planned to regionalize the conflict. Iran's decision to close the Strait of Hormuz, the waterway through which roughly 20% of the world's oil and gas normally flows, sent economic shockwaves around the globe. And according to Iran expert Karim Sajidpour, Trump said that took him by surprise. I don't think President Trump understood what he was getting into, Sajidpour said. Oil prices have surged around 45% since the war began, with Brent crude settling above $112 a barrel. Goldman Sachs says higher prices could last through 2027. You feel it every time you fill up your tank. And here's the kicker. The Trump administration is now lifting sanctions on Iranian oil to try to ease the crisis. Sanctions on the very country they're fighting. Let that sink in. Now here's where it gets spicy for MAGA world. Wars are supposed to give presidents a rally round the flag bump. George W. Bush had an 89% approval rating right after September 11th. Trump, nothing. There has been no rally round the flag effect for Trump with this war. A Quinnipiac University survey found 37% approval and 57% disapproval, showing significant erosion among independent voters. And independents, folks, those are the people who actually decide elections. Trump's approval rating with men, his own base, has hit a new low during his second term, according to a recent Economist/YouGov poll. Men, the guys with the MAGA hats, even they're drifting. The midterms are November 3rd, 2026. All 435 seats in the House are on the ballot, along with 35 Senate seats. Generic congressional polling currently shows 47.8% saying they'd vote Democrat versus 43.1% Republican. That is a 4.5-point gap. In a midterm environment, that's a red alarm. Let's break down the mechanics. Because a lot of people throw the word impeachment around like it's a magic wand. It's not. It's a two-step process. Step 1. The House of Representatives votes to impeach. That's like a grand jury indictment. Simple majority. 218 votes out of 435. That's it. Step 2. The Senate holds a trial. To actually remove a president, you need 2/3 of the Senate, 67 votes. That's where it always falls apart. Trump was impeached twice during his first term, acquitted both times in the Senate. So technically, impeachment without removal is possible. It's essentially a political black eye, not a knockout punch. But here's the twist. The War Powers Resolution of 1973 requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of sending forces into hostilities and limits military engagement to 60 days without congressional authorization. Critics argue Trump launched this war without proper congressional approval. That's the constitutional grenade sitting on the table. Democrats are already arguing that Trump's authorization of military action without explicit congressional approval raises serious legal and constitutional questions. So walk through this with me, step by step. If the Iran war drags on, if gas stays above $4, if body bags start coming home, if the economy takes another hit, November becomes brutal for Republicans. Betting markets on Polymarket currently show a 35% chance of Democrats winning the House while Republicans hold the Senate in the midterms. If that happens, Democrats control the House. And if Democrats control the House, multiple Democratic candidates are already running on explicit promises to impeach Trump, citing the Iran war as grounds. Here's the wild number. Kalsha betting markets give a 71% chance Trump gets impeached by January 1st, 2028. That's not some fringe prediction. That's the market, pricing in the realistic scenario where Democrats flip the House in November. Now, will he be removed? Almost certainly not. You'd still need 67 Senate votes. Republicans would have to turn on him en masse. That's a different mountain. But arrested? Here's the thing most people miss. A president can be criminally charged after leaving office. Trump already has prior felony convictions. If he leaves the White House in 2029 without a pardon strategy in place, that's a whole different legal universe. Here's the honest, straight-shooting summary. Is Trump losing the Iran war? Not militarily. The US has degraded Iran's navy, air force, and missile systems. But military wins don't pay your gas bill. And one Iran policy expert says what began as a war of choice has morphed into a war of necessity. And Trump may not simply be able to end it and claim victory. Is he going to be impeached tomorrow? No. Republicans still control Congress. Is there a realistic path where the war drags on, the midterms flip the House, Democrats push impeachment, and Trump spends the rest of his second term in political firefighting mode? Yeah, there is. History has a funny way of repeating itself. And right now, the numbers are telling a story that MAGA doesn't want to hear. Subscribe if you want to keep following this, because this one's far from over. Listen, right now, the world is being engineered by a handful of powerful elites, and we are not invited to the table. Your future wealth, your democracy, your freedom, is being shaped without your voice. If ordinary people don't unite now, the future will be owned by billionaires and algorithms. Right now, only 15% of you watching are subscribed. That means 85% are gambling with their own awareness. This isn't entertainment. This is your financial survival kit. Subscribe, like, and share. Not for me, but because if we don't organize information today, we will pay the price tomorrow.